Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Astrology with LP. Today I'm going to make a video on the double transit effect of Saturn and Jupiter. See, every single time Saturn is in a particular house, Jupiter is in a particular house, either both of them are going to aspect a particular house, or Saturn will aspect Jupiter or Jupiter will aspect Saturn. Regardless, there has to be one house where both of them are either aspecting or one is sitting and the other is aspecting. This is called the double transit phenomena, and I'll give you a very quick example to demonstrate this. Right now in the skies as we speak, Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, and retrogression of planets is not relevant over here. Pisces has Saturn and Gemini has Jupiter. Right now if you see, Saturn basically aspects first, second, third. So Saturn will aspect the third house from himself. Saturn will aspect the seventh house from himself and the 10th house from himself. Jupiter tends to aspect the fifth house from himself, the ninth house from himself, and obviously the seventh house from himself. This aspect is general for every transit of Saturn. Saturn will aspect the third house, seventh house, and 10th house from himself, and Jupiter will aspect the fifth house, seventh house, and ninth house from himself. If you see this particular house, the ninth sign, basically the sign of Sagittarius, is being aspected both by Saturn and by Jupiter. Saturn's transit I've given by the sign of a tick mark, and Jupiter's transit I've given with the sign of a star. So this particular house becomes a very important house in the skies right now. Why? Because the sign of Sagittarius is something that both Jupiter and Saturn are right now aspecting. So the significations of this particular house, wherever it sits in your birth chart, so it could be that you have Sagittarius over here, someone else might have Sagittarius over here, someone else might have Sagittarius over here. That particular sign activates itself. When this activation happens, what happens? The effects are threefold. One, we have to understand that the house becomes active. So whatever the signification of that house is, those things come alive. Second, if any planet is in that house, a natal planet is what I'm referring to over here, that planet also tends to activate itself. So if that planet is strong, exalted, suddenly you're going to see good results in that area, the area that particular planet is governing for you. And here, is it possible that Saturn and Jupiter will not aspect a particular house in one go? Yes, it is possible, but only in one case, where Jupiter tends to aspect Saturn himself, or Saturn tends to aspect Jupiter himself. So if I were to change this example a little bit, let's say I put Jupiter in the second house over here. Sorry, the second sign in the sign of Taurus. Now what is happening? From here, Saturn will continue to aspect the same houses, but the aspects of Jupiter will change a little. Jupiter will start to aspect this house because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is the fifth house, the seventh house, and the ninth house. In this case, see what happens. There are two things that are happening simultaneously. Both Saturn and Jupiter are aspecting this house. This is the sixth house, the sign of Virgo. This is actually the seventh house, but in terms of sign, this is the sixth sign. This is the sign of Virgo. So both Saturn from his seventh aspect and Jupiter from his fifth aspect tend to activate the sign of Virgo in one go, assuming Saturn is in Pisces and Jupiter is in Taurus. But something interesting is happening at the same time. Why? Because Saturn is aspecting Jupiter. So the sign of Taurus is activated because Jupiter is here, and Saturn is also aspecting the sign of Taurus. So this is termed as the double transit effect of Saturn and Jupiter, meaning either they aspect one house or one planet aspects the other planet. These two transits can be used to time majorly any event in your life. Obviously, Dhasha takes precedence. The Dhasha, because it's derived by a natal birth chart, will always take precedence over transit. And I've made a separate video on how to read transits. But the double transit effect of Saturn and Jupiter almost always, it's not even that, in this case it might just be greater than equal to, because this is a very prominent transit. Whenever Saturn and Jupiter tend to activate a particular house together, this will definitely give that particular house's significations will definitely come into focus in that particular year. So that's it for this video. This is a rather shorter video. How to interpret this transit is something I'll make in a separate video, but that's it for today. Thank you.